This is a work of fiction. Names, characters, businesses, places, events, and incidents are either the product of the author's imagination or used in a fictitious manner. Ooh. Tokyo Babel, Pilgrims of the Apocalypse. Hello there, everybody. So, Butter Knight Hammer, and welcome to Tokyo Babel. Well, this has been a long time coming. This is the winner of the voting poll that we recently held, and as I said at the beginning of the Higurashi video just the other day, I'm gonna limit the voting to last only 2 days because, good lord, the voting was going out of hand and some people were getting a little antsy that I was taking too long. So from now on, any voting poll that'll be done will last a total of 2 days. Basically, the day that I announce it, and then the day afterwards. And then the day after that, that'll be the announcement of whoever won the voting poll. So that's gonna be the plan from now on. Anyway, since this is the winner, we are going to jump right into this other story. I literally have little to no knowledge of it other than some screenshots that were like not really, they weren't really spoilerisk. I don't think that's the word actually, but they didn't really spoil anything for me. Ooh, nice little sound effects. All right, let's jump in. A troubadour wandered the shrouded recesses of a dark forest. Mindless automatons toiling amidst walls long perished to the ages. A girl of gentle years weeping under the glow of dusk. It all began with the day of twilight. I am an ordinary being. Oh, it's your phone. Oh! Kugutsu Sorumi. CV Itao Kanai. Or Kanei. I can't read that. A shrill sound jolted my fleeting consciousness back to reality, making me feel like a spinning top forcefully put to a halt. Not the most pleasant of feelings, all things considered. A tingling numbness crawled along my left cheek and arm. I had given up on forming sensible thoughts until my brain finished rebooting. Gonna pick up that phone? Yet the ringing noise refused to cease, eventually growing painful in my ears and irritating my senses. If I had to compare it to anything, I'd say the sensation was akin to a screwdriver drilling into my eyeballs. I'd surely leave a mark in the morning. Oh my goodness. With the rebooting of my brain finally complete, I lifted my head and cast a drowsy look at my surroundings, finding their vague contours enveloped by an orange glow. After a number of hasty blinks, I finally began taking in my surroundings. Wooden desks and chairs ordered into neat lines, a blackboard and a notice board with a bunch of notes stuck to it. Oh fuck, we're back in the Danganronpa. Dude, get out of there before you freaking get soot into the I'm just waiting for a freaking black and white bear to immediately just show up and say, "Welcome to despair!" It was a classroom. I must have fallen asleep and my head was still trying to figure out what was what. I spent a few moments grumbling over my situation. Some friends I had. Wait, forget my friends. Wasn't it normally a teacher's job to wake sleeping students? Irritated, I jumped out of my seat and glanced around the room. And then I finally realized something that should have been obvious from the start. The classroom was empty. There wasn't a single soul in the room, save for me. Well, that by itself wasn't particularly strange. I guess everyone just decided to abandon me in my sleep, and I couldn't exactly blame them for it. I then spotted yet another abnormality in the room. This was a classroom, so why would I be hearing a ringing sound in here? Whence comest thou, O sound? Old English. Haven't seen that in a while. I spotted the culprit in question with little to no effort. An ancient-looking black phone rested conspicuously atop the teacher's desk. Yet there it was, without a shred of doubt, filling the room with its shrill tone like it was the most normal thing in the world. It made my head hurt to the point where I thought the sound was physically tampering with my brain in some way. My body felt heavy and sluggish, like I had caught a cold or something. I certainly thought the situation was strange, but right now, the pain was my utmost concern. Enough of your damn ringing already! I finally got close enough to pick up the receiver and put an end to this auditory nightmare.
Hi, moshi moshi.
Oh, so this is what you look like. Oh, that's right, that's right, this is... I remember the screenshot kind of looked like this. So I'm guessing this is our main character, huh? I think. My frustration slipped into my tone. The person on the other end could no doubt make out the belligerent crudeness of it. The headache was seriously killing me, and the dizziness almost like I had a fever. It was so bright I attempted closing my eyes, but the orange ray still pierced through my eyelids, making me feel as if my brain itself was illuminated by its flickering lights. However, the person on the other end of the line showed no sign of surprise whatsoever. His voice was dispassionate, cold as ice. Tendao Setsuna. I think the last time I ever saw some dude whose name was Setsuna was freaking, You guys ever watched that Mobile Suit Gundam 00? What was his name? Setsuna F-Sei, I believe that was his name. That was like the only Gundam I actually watched, which I thought was pretty good. His mechanical tone instantly dispelled the haze enveloping my mind.
Nani?
My name? My name was... let's see. Sorami. Yes, my name was Kugutsu Sorami. I really wished my parents had picked something more feminine sounding, but there you had it. I don't know. I've never been... Shit, I wouldn't even know what a feminine sounding Japanese name would even be. Oh yeah, not ominous whatsoever. Killed? I spent a few moments trying to process the word before answering him.
Huh?
What an insipid response. Then again, I thought it was fairly appropriate, considering I had just been told over the phone that I'd be killed. Nonetheless, the words felt awfully out of place, almost like I was the one acting foolish, while the person on the other side was the one in the right. All I could muster was another... What? I thought, or rather tried to think, that I had been the victim of one hell of a prank call. My brain had been in complete emergency mode for a while now, trying to tell me that I had gotten myself into a dire situation, that I was merely turning a blind eye to the problem. Killed? Someone was out to kill me?
ちょっとわけわかんないこと言わないでよ。
My voice trailed off abruptly. I shot a sheepish glance around the room to confirm I was still alone. His words silenced me in an instant. I was really scared. And with that, I had finally realized the most striking abnormality of my situation. I was Kugutsu Sorami. I was Kugutsu Sorami. I was Kugutsu Sorami. I had no other information. I felt as if a short circuit had occurred within my brain, and even the orange-tinted light filtering in through the windows worked only to accelerate my terror. The cold voice buzzing through the receiver soothed my panic-stricken mind.
私どうしたら。
ともかく逃げるんだ。私は今君のいる場所に侵入を試みている。それまでなんとか頑張ってくれ。
Off to a swimmingly good start. Survive? What the hell is that even supposed to mean? Still, his suggestion did sound awfully appealing.
わかった、逃げる。いや、ちょっと待って、逃げるってどこへ行けばいいのよ。
どこでもいい。今は誰もいない。
誰もいない。
だったら教室以外の誰もいない場所を探して、もし誰かに会ったらそれがどんな存在だろうと絶対に接触するな。
No matter who it is. Okay.
わかった。
生体反応完全消失を確認。天使が動き出したかも。
Vital signs lost, the angel might be on the move. A mechanical voice reached me from the receiver. I couldn't quite make it out.
今なんて言った？
どうやら動き出したらしい。今すぐ教室から出るんだ。今すぐに。
On the move. That one phrase chilled my blood.
急げ。
I slapped the receiver down and rushed outside the room. Where do I go? I had a million questions racing through my mind about my amnesia, but whoever was targeting me, about the abandoned school building, the guy over the phone, and God knows what else.
とりあえず今は逃げる。
It was a split-second decision. I ran and ran as far as I could down the stairs and up the stairs, then down and up and down and down. I ran for 10 minutes straight, surprising even myself by such a display of stamina. Yet each breath I inhaled now felt a chore as my sluggish body was assaulted by a wave of unpleasant chills. I was now standing in a long, straight hallway with no idea where to go. Oh. So now I could finally, I got a good look at that flash this time. Okay. This isn't what it all seems to be, apparently. The classrooms were locked, and though I could probably kick the doors down, I preferred not to make a racket. I was going to be killed. Those ominous words still haunted my mind as I bolted through hallways that seemed to go on in endless circles. I had no idea if I was ascending or descending, nor could I even tell which floor I was on. Damn it. I was beyond clueless. Other than my past being one massive question mark, the present was a blur and the future even less certain. I felt as if fear had taken hold of my heart with an iron fist, making me sink deeper and deeper into its bog. Despite wanting to go home, I couldn't even recall where I lived. The only thing I still remembered was my name. I wondered if I had a family or friends. What sort of things did I like or dislike? What were my strengths and weaknesses? I couldn't even remember my own face all that well. I considered the straightforward possibility of this all being just a dream. With a faint glimmer of hope nestled in my heart, I decided to give my cheeks a party pinch. Seemed like I could feel pain, in which case getting hurt or even killed would feel just as real, even if this were a dream. I needed a place where I could be alone, somewhere I could hide. Good lord, there is a lot of CGs here. The girls' bathroom seemed clean enough, so I decided to huddle up inside its farthest stall. I sat myself down on the toilet seat, letting a sigh leave my lips as I hugged my knees to my chest. The rays of dusk seeped in through the windows in unchanging orange. The sheer number of things I had to mull over left me unable to properly collect my thoughts. If I were to count my blessings, I could name only one. The fact that I didn't succumb under the pressure and start screaming at the top of my lungs. No doubt I had my hardened nature to thank for that. I was simply scared. To realize that I would be next, to know my life was in the crosshairs, paralyzed me with fear. I jolted up, let out a scream, too, and ultimately hit my bum as I landed back on the toilet seat. A phone hung on the wall behind me. Actually, it sort of appeared out of thin air just now. It stood out like a sore thumb, so I was pretty sure I would have noticed it before. The phone was ringing in its usual shrill tone.
あ、もう
I snatched up the receiver with a loud click and held it to my ear.
もしもし。
ちょっと一体どういうことなのよ。どういう理屈でこんな場所に電話あるのよ。一体どこにかけてんのよ。ふざけんじゃないわよ。こっちは怖いんだから。
元気だね。
ちっとも元気じゃないわよ。何が何だかもうわからない。これ夢よね。夢だと言って。
君が知っている現実とは少し違うかもしれないけど、目を覚ましたらベッドの中という希望は捨てた方がいい。
持って回った言い方しないで。ああ、もう。
君は今女子トイレ？
そう。幸い誰もいないみたい。
いないだろうね。今その校舎にいるのは君ともう一人だけなんだから。残っているのはもう君だけなんだ。
私以外の人たちは
They did.
いない。皆殺しにされたらしい。
Oh. I was just joking, but okay. I took a deep breath, having understood the sheer severity and abnormality of the situation, even if most of the details were still vague at best.
この電話で喋っているとまずいかな。
I like how she's so freaking calm about this, honestly.
受話器を取っている間、音を君がいる世界から切り離しているから問題ないと思う。
I would honestly be freaking right the fuck out.
そんなことできるの？いや、今なら何でも信じるけどさ。
不可能じゃない。頭には君がパクパク口を動かしているだけに見える。
ああ、そう。他人の目がなくてよかったわ。
悪いニュースが一つある。
Uh-oh. I sighed again. What now?
この状況以上に悪いニュースがあるならさっさと言って。
君を助けるには思っていた以上に時間がかかりそうなんだ。もう少し頑張ってほしい。
Okay, for one thing, it kind of feels like they're not saying the entire what's like on screen. Then again, I don't speak Japanese, so I wouldn't even know. Oh, great. Fantastic.
ああ、そう。じゃあ、このまま待ってるわ。
すまない。
いいの。ああ、ところで、セツナだっけ？
そう。私の名前は天童刹那。
Tendo says, okay, it's not Tendao, what the hell.
ちょっと変わった名前ね。ああ、いや、かっこいいとは思うけどさ。
Yeah, I don't even know who the hell you are, but you have a cool sounding name, bro.
そんなことを言われたのは初めてかもしれない。
あら、そうなの？それで、どのくらいで助けに来られるのかしら？
I was hoping for him to arrive in a speedy fashion, like in 2 seconds, if possible.
1時間後。無論、できるだけ短くするように努力はしている。
なんだ、すぐじゃない。
They managed to calm me down a bit.
ただし、30分以内に君は間違いなく襲われる。君の居場所は分からずとも、君が存在することそのものは、そいつには分かるのだから。
Okay, so it's a female that's after us. Oh, great. And with that, all my optimism flew right out the window.
そう。
怖くないのかい？
I gave an honest answer.
怖くないと言えば嘘になるけど、でも記憶がないせいかしら。どこか曖昧なのよ。記憶がない理由もわからない。どうしてここにいるかもわからない。 自分がどんな存在なのかすらわからない。
I'm pretty sure anybody who has amnesia would have no freaking clue about why they have amnesia.
そうだね。わからない。何もわからない。わかる必要がないのかもしれない。
I think I just gave myself a headache wondering what the fuck I just said. Not sure if that was intentional or not, but it almost felt like he was mocking me.
いやよ、そんなの。無事に脱出できたら、私はわからないことをあなたの胸ぐら掴んででも問いただすから。
過激だ。
そういう性格みたいね。記憶飛んでるからわからないけどさ。
それから。
Oh boy. Just as Setsuno was about to tell me something, the bathroom door opened with a creak, making me freeze up in an instant. Freaky hair got there.
音がしなかったか。
した。
じっとして。動かないで。
わかってるわよ。それよりこの声、本当に聞こえないんでしょうね。
多分。
Almost certain?
多分って何よ、ふざけんな。もし聞こえてたら弁償してもらうからね。
ともかく急いで君のところに行くから。一旦切るよ。作業に集中したい。
嘘、待ってよ。こんな状況で一人は嫌よ。
静かに。すぐに行くから。
ちょっと待って。
And with that, the line fell silent, robbing me of the only thing that still kept my sanity intact. What had gotten into me? I was relatively fine until a minute ago. Lively, even. Fat beads of sweat began accumulating on my forehead, yet all I felt was a chill rushing through my entire body and a current accompanied only by the incessant beating of my heart. I was afraid. The person in the bathroom gave off no sounds, nor any indication of movement. But I knew they were there. How could I not? I ended up having to bite down on my own hand to suppress the clattering of my teeth. In fact, I bit so hard even a few droplets of blood gushed out. Nonetheless, I had no intention of making even the tiniest of squeaks. Hmm?
イギリス人の血の匂いがするぞ。生きていようが死んでいよう。
Maybe it wasn't a good idea to bite yourself and draw blood.
そいつの骨を砕いてパンにしてる。
Ooh, creepy smile. The girl recited the words in a voice gentler than a midsummer breeze. A frightened gasp escaped my lips. My heart was in a vice grip of chilled steel, freezing the very blood in my veins. I was scared beyond words. The unimaginable ruthlessness lurking behind that girlish facade of a tone filled me with a crippling sense of dread. I heard the sound of a door opening. 3 other stalls separated the intruder from mine. I couldn't stop shaking. I hadn't caught a glimpse of my pursuer's face, yet her voice alone spoke of her intentions with terrifying clarity. I would be killed. Brutally and without mercy. Another bang. The door was flung open with slightly more ferocity than the one preceding it. Stay away. The door of the second stall to my left sounded like it had just been kicked open. I would not last an hour like this, nor did I have any means of escape. I deeply regretted not picking the boys' bathroom to hide out in. The girl made her way to the next stall, her giggle like the chime of a tiny bell. The sound I heard next was more akin to a small-scale explosion rather than a door being opened. And then an idea popped into my head, one that could save my skin. It was a desperate gamble for certain, but also my only option right now. The girl would come to check my stall in a second. Before she could do that, I'd hop over the partition and slip into the neighboring stall, the same one she had just checked moments before. The plan felt like it was destined to fail from the get-go, but I'd be a sitting duck if I simply stayed in my stall doing nothing. I'd be killed for certain, brutally and without mercy. I didn't want to die. Probably for the first time in my life, I began earnestly praying to God.
神様、神様、お願いします。一生分の幸運を私にください。
I got up and lashed onto the wall next to me, pulling myself up with all the strength I could muster. What the... Okay... That's fucking creepy! From beyond the partition, a pair of crimson eyes were fixed on me, staring intently. Just staring and staring, never once blinking. Just staring and 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 staring. The girl's lips slithered into a broad smile. And in the blink of an eye, everything around me was ravaged, rewound, ripped, and ruined. A gaping abyss of a hole invaded the bathroom floor, swallowing me whole, plunging me ever downward into depravity, darkness, and oblivion. The dark of midnight enveloped me at all angles, threatening to devour me. Moments passed, and everything was soon purged by blinding white, almost like this had all just been almost like this had all just been a dream. Guess it was a dream, huh? What is this, Edge of Tomorrow? No, wait. Was that the movie? Shit, what was that movie about that guy who got sprayed with that weird alien stuff and every time he died, he repeated the same day? Oh god, I can't remember what the name of that movie is. I shot an alarmed look around the room, only to be met with the displeased gazes of my fellow classmates. Hello. My gaze met with that of a middle-aged man standing tall on the teacher's podium, eyeballing me with an expression of clear astonishment. That's honestly not the voice I was expecting. I was expecting more of a Kyurei voice.
違います。誤解です。誤解。
じゃあいきなり規制を発して授業中に立ち上がり、キョロキョロと周囲を見回した理由を述べよ。どうした？寝ていたんじゃないならきっと理由があるんだよな。先生、クグツのことは信頼してるからな。
Kind of a weird thing to say to your student, but okay.
学級崩壊させたくて。
Yes, that works.
クグツソラミアウト。
His fist crash landed into my head. Yeah, saying that might not have been the brightest of ideas, as now I had to endure the sheer humiliation of being made the laughingstock of my whole class.
死にたい。本当。あなたも死んでしまった方がいいんじゃないかしら。友人であることが恥ずかしくなったわよ、私。
Hello.
うっさいわね、女子生徒 A。
What?
中学以来同じクラスの友人にモブ扱いされた。
Really?
夢見が悪かったせいで、どうにもこうにもいろいろと曖昧なのよ。んで、あんた誰だっけ？
Oh my god, man.
うっさい。そんなこと言うやつには絶対に私の名を教えてなんてやらない。
Sorry, schoolgirl A.
わかった。じゃあこれから一生南雲有利のことは女子生徒 A で通すから。ねえ A さん、前から思ってたんだけど、あなたって人生におけるイベント A が少ないわよね。
What the... Having a little fun with the fourth wall breaking, buddy?
あらゆる意味でひどい発言ね。てか普通に覚えてるじゃないのよ。もう心配して損した。
What the hell? I buried my face on my desk, pretending not to hear her. Well, to be fair, I only just remembered it now.
それにしても嫌な夢だったわ。あら、空見って夢を覚えているタイプ？インパクト強い夢を見たときは割と。でも大抵はその日のうちに忘れちゃうわ。そりゃそうよね。夢なんてそういうもの。あんまりリアルだったし、痛みまであったのよ。思い出すだけでも気分悪い。
Yuri responded with a mischievous smile.
痛覚がある夢っていうのは確かに珍しいかもね。どんな夢だったのかしら？
Yeah, she's still being referred to as schoolgirl A.
あれ？
I'd already forgotten it. In any case, it was a really terrifying dream.
誰かに追い回される夢だったかな。あるある。私はね。
Yuri cleared her throat and went on in a jovial tone.
ホッケーマスクの怪人とチェーンソーを持った怪人と頭に針を刺したセノバイトとゾンビとグールとリビングデッドに追い回された夢を見たわ。
What the fuck?
なぜゾンビとグールとリビングデッドをいちいち編集教的に分類したのかよくわからないけど、あと嬉しそうなのもよくわからないけど、まあ悪夢としてはパターンよね。
Really? I can't remember the last time I even had a nightmare concerning zombies. Although in terms of dreams, I had a dream that one of my teachers was a zombie. That was fucking weird. He kept gnawing on one of the students in the back. I got up from my desk to stretch my limbs.
ストレスか。やっぱストレス溜まってんのか私。溜まってんでしょ、いろいろと。溜まってんのかな。
I spotted a number of male students staring in my direction. There was something bashful about their gazes, and for some reason they'd instantly look the other way once I took notice of them.
それも仮にも空見が熟れた体を持て余しているとか言い出したら大抵の男子生徒はエキサイトするでしょ。
What?
一言も言っとらんわ。
Besides, there was nothing on me that could, in good conscience, be labeled as ripe. Okay. On the other hand, there was still room for improvement.
まあ、嫌な夢なんてさっさと忘れなさいな。所詮、夢は海の泡に過ぎない。存在を許されるのは一瞬だけなの。
Well, aren't you poetic?
だからこそ波しぶきは美しく、夢は綺麗なのよ。悪夢は醜悪であればあるほど芸術品ね。
Okay.
何変なこと言い出してんだか。
Yuri responded with a chuckle, then waved at me as she went on.
部活があるからお先に失礼するわ。じゃあまた明日ね。いってらー。
Bye, female student A. Right then. That conversation just now managed to stifle some of the uncanniness I initially felt. Guess I'll just head home and...
くぐつ空見、どこへ行く?
A whiff of anxiety flooded my senses as I turned around in response to his oddly roundabout expression. Before me stood a male student of striking blonde locks, his countenance frigid, almost like a block of ice sculpted into a man. He wasn't Aryan, was he? Nah, he had to be Japanese, even if his looks didn't exactly make it evident. The way he carried himself, that callous look in his eyes...
誰だっけ?
And I forgot his name.
あだ夢之助。醜態をさらけ出して少しはまともになったのかと思ったのだが、ダメか。
Ada Yumanosuke. Huh. I think it's the first time I have ever heard a character's name be called Ada. Or Ada, or...
ああ、はいはい。ついでだから忘れてもらえると助かるわ。アジャ君。
あじゃじゃなくてあだだ。何度言えばわかるのかね、君は。
Ada, okay.
いいじゃない。高名な女子プロレスラーと同じだなんて私だったら喜ぶけど。
Okay.
それと親から受け継いだ名前を変えてしまうのとでは話が別だ。
で、何のような。
奇妙な夢を見たんだそうだな。
What is with these students always like asking about dreams and all that?
そうよ、悪かったわね。
Ada shrugged, his emotionless features showing not a shred of change.
夢は少なからず現実を反映する。どんな高等無形な夢であっても、そこには必ず現実の記憶が絡みついている。
What is with people and being freaking poetic? Oh my god, if I would give you a voice, I'd probably give you the Byakuya Togami voice. No matter how absurd a form they may take, what you witness in your dreams will always be fraught with morsels of genuine memories.
そんなもんなの？
That was terrible.
そんなものだ。で、夢の内容は覚えてないのか？
分かった。私が夢の内容を聞かせると、それは欲求不満だね、くぐつくん。溜まっているんじゃないかな。あっはっはっていうつもりでしょ、この変態。
君の想像力は無限大すぎる。
というわけでごめん、覚えてません。きれいさっぱり忘れちまいました。
You sure about that?
そうか。それは残念だ。
Ada exhaled a sigh, just as when I was about to remind him how there was not much I could do about not remembering my dream, I spotted a girl standing behind him, exuding an aura of grace. Black-haired Sakura. Alright, she must be Ada's girlfriend.
行きましょう、夢の助様。
Crap, I legit forgot her name. Who is she again?
もうそんな時間か。それでは、俺はこれで。
じゃあね。
Ada's girlfriend shot a few cursory glances at me, then briefly bowed and hurried off while constantly staying just a few steps behind him. Ooh, that must have been the characteristic mindset of the ideal Japanese woman, always staying a few steps behind the male. Or wait, there was actually a different interpretation in some book I read a while back, how staying a few steps behind him was the ideal way to avoid landmines, by letting the one in front take the hit, that is. In any event, the point was that I couldn't quite see the value in a relationship like that. Having just declared that, though, I didn't actually know much about the two. But for some reason, I had that feeling of certainty. You been talking to Lambda too much? I stepped out into the hallway, only to be greeted by the hearty guffaw of the one person I wanted to meet the least.
Oh, 反省したか、クグツ。
Yeah, he didn't finish the whole statement. What the heck? This person was called, let's see.
反省しました、先生。
さっき南雲に聞いたんだが、お前寝ぼけているんだって？
余計なこと言いやがったな、あんにゃろ。すいません、弁解のしようもございません。でもまあ、ついさっきそれで鉄拳制裁食らったことですし、ここは一つ。
何がここは一つだ。だいたいおめえ、他人の名前すら曖昧になってるんじゃねえか。
Crap. He was surprisingly sharp for such a big guy.
そんなことないよ。先生、よくないね。
What? What the fuck? What is with the way she worded that?
お前、うちの近所に住んでる外国の姉ちゃんか。
すいません、先生の名前を忘れました。
Either that or I had never known it in the first place. The amount of information I could recall about this teacher of mine, compared to my classmates, at any rate, was bordering close to nil.
熊本先生だ。思い出したか？
Professor Kumamoto.
熊本先生ですね。覚えました。
He made no attempts at hiding his astonishment.
どうやら相当衝撃的な悪夢だったんだな。どんな夢だった？
夢を見ている間は今までにない斬新かつアバンギャルドで最強絶叫ホラーって感じだったんですが。
Well, if it was going for that horror flick, that weird character, that creepy face certainly startled me. With the budget rivaling that of a Hollywood blockbuster, no less. At this point, I couldn't think of it as anything more than just a dream, the kind that rears its ugly head numerous times during people's lives. A dream where you're being chased by someone or something.
ああ、追いかけられるね。そんなに大量の課題を出した覚えはないんだが。
課題ありましたか？
It had completely slipped my mind.
今日一日で終わるかどうか微妙ってところのレベルが1週間前に出したはずだが。
The kind that... Oh. Well, I did give you the assignment last week, though. His expression shifted into that of a teacher looking at a soon-to-be dropout.
覚えてないのか。つくづくダメなやつだな、お前さんは。
It seemed like he did consider me to be on the level of a dropout.
面目ないです。はい。
I scratched the back of my head. It wasn't like I could really help it, after all. I had no memories to work with. But wait a second. I did have memories.
どうした？
いえ、思い出しました。英語の論文でしたっけ？
なんだ、思い出せたのか。で、やってるのか。
I see. So, think you can pull it off?
はい、一応最後までやっています。確か。
Oh, there it is again. Yeah, I was going to hand in some sorry excuse for a rough draft.
今日遂行するつもりでした。明日には提出できます。
なんだ、優等生じゃないかお前。
優等生ですよ。そういう設定です。
設定じゃなくて努力の証だろ、それは。
自分が優等生なんて自覚なかなか持てなくて。
そうか。まあいいや。じゃ、明日の提出忘れるんじゃねえぞ。あと、悪夢を見るな。
The important part is that you don't forget to hand in your assignment tomorrow. And try not to have any more nightmares, alright?
いやー、夢のコントロールはちょっとさすがの私でも。
I don't know, some people can actually control their dreams. What are they, I think there's a term for it. I think they're called lucid dreamers.
さすがの私って、お前はどれだけ自分を高評価してるんだ。それはともかく、枕の下に何か面白いものでも入れておけ。
Cheery.
あ、じゃあヌードルズのコント DVD でも差し込んでおきます。
The Noodles? The Noodles were a comic duo known not for their TV performances, but rather their stage appearances. And though I was not able to go see them live at a theater, I did end up buying their sketches on DVD. Well, I realize my constant praising may not change too many minds, so go check them out yourself. And that's it for my brief PSA. The Noodles.
あれ、ホラー混じってるコントもあるから気をつけてな。
意外に詳しいですね。
After spending a good 10 minutes losing myself in a heated discussion with Professor Kumamoto over the merits of this or that comedic duo, I decided to finally excuse myself and be on my way. This is extremely odd, but I find myself enjoying it. Well then, no doubt owing to my mind beginning to be fully liberated from the haunting memories of that nightmare, I sensed a fresh surge of memories washing over me in fierce waves. My name was Kugutsu Sorumi. I had both of my parents and a sister called Shina. She attended the same school and would always accompany me on my way home. Yep, so far so good. My memories began to return at the smooth pace of a well-oiled cogwheel. I recalled memories of my youth, times when I was happy, times when I was sad, joy and sorrow, pain and anger. Certainly, certain details were still vague, but I figured that to be within the bounds of what could still be considered natural. Around the same time I remembered last night's dinner, a plate of rice omelet, I heard a female voice call out to me.
あら、くぐつさん、今帰り？
Hello there, white-haired female.
そうだけど。
妹さんが待っているわ。
早く言ってあげなきゃね。一ついいかな。どちら様かしら？
The girl cocked her head to the side, staring back at me with the expression of someone who had just been deeply insulted. Sorry. She bore a slight resemblance to a certain white-robed ghost from a horror flick that was all the rage just a few years back. In any event, she gave me the chills. She was certainly beautiful, yet her unusually long hair spilled forward in unkempt strands, lending her a positively Sadako-ish aura. Sadako. I feel like I've heard about that. The name, just the name Sadako sounds familiar.
私のこと知らない？ちょっと待って。今思い出すから。
She's Sadie.
それは私のあだ名であって本名じゃないわ。ごめん。
Ugh. Suddenly it came to me. Wait, no, it didn't quite feel like remembering something.
漆原青美さんだよね。
Urushibara Aomi. Aomi nodded, her features loosening into a lovely smile.
よかったよかった。放送部の漆原です。はじめまして。
Well, you seem nice.
やっぱ初対面なんだ。絶賛記憶喪失中の久口空美さん。いや、普通に記憶戻ってますから。寝ぼけてただけっすから。あら、つまらない。授業中に居眠りこいて悪い夢見て寝ぼけただけです。それももう過去の話。
I'd take all those haunting memories, chuck them in a room, and swallow the key. Be done with them, so to speak. But just like a stubborn piece of chewing gum refusing to let go of one shoe, they kept tormenting me even now. I wondered if torment would truly be the right word to describe it. What if they were a warning?
ねえ、それってどんな？いやー、もう覚えてない。何もさっぱり覚えてないの。記憶から消えた。喪失してしまったの。バックアップも取ってない。上書き保存しちゃったのよ。
Oh yeah, totally not suspicious.
名前をつけて保存しなさいっていつも言っているでしょうに。
What?
言われたことないわね。少なくとも初対面の人間に。
I don't think our brains have that ability.
ああ、それもそうか。
She gave a comprehending nod. Our conversation was really having a tough time moving forward. It felt kind of odd.
それで何のようなの？ちょっと話してみたくなっただけ。私と？あなたと。
Another lovely smile, the kind that could heal the sick. She really should try and make that her default expression, because the moment she shifted that frigid glare of hers, it was back to creepy ghost mode all over again. Boy, I was really being rude to her in my mind, and I just met her.
まあいいや。何を話そっか。いいお天気ね。
Yes, immediately the first conversation of all time. Freaking nice weather.
そこから？いやまあ確かにいいお天気だけど。
I couldn't finish the rest of the sentence as the blinding orange of dusk invaded the corridor through the windows. All of a sudden, I recalled the nightmare. That's right. Back in the dream, I was sleeping at my desk in the classroom.
電話。ああ、夢をちょっと思い出したのよ。確か電話が鳴ってたわ。へえ、私電話なんて知らないわ。そりゃ知らないでしょうよ。私の夢なんだもの。で、教壇の上に黒電話が置いてあったのよ。
I mean, it's not that ancient, really. The memories of my dream came trickling back into my mind in gradual fragments. Still, I had neither the time, willingness, or obligation to go over each and every detail.
そこらへん、もうちょっと詳しく聞かせてくれない？あー、ごめん。妹と待ち合わせしてるのよ。 完全に思い出したら明日にでも教えるわ。
I gave her a brief wave of my hand and turned to be on my way.
じゃあまたね。
I ran and ran, breaking into a dash, if not a full-on sprint. Sure, to put my trusty legs to work as I bolted down a whole set of stairs. It actually made me recall how I spent a decent amount of time rushing up and down flights of stairs in my dream. In any case, the laws of physics were completely flipped upside down anymore. Back in the dream, I recalled going up 7 floors, then down 10. That school was like a fortress. Needless to say, the classroom I needed to reach didn't require a Herculean effort of that caliber. In fact, I revived within a minute. Class 1-3. I carefully slid the door open and inspected the classroom, and there she was, gazing idly out the window. It appeared she had yet to notice me. Was that your sister? Or maybe not. She abruptly turned around, meeting my gaze.
お姉ちゃん、遅いよ。
Yep, there she is. I met her smile with a few rapid sorries, then gave her hair a sisterly ruffle.
罰としてバルドダッツのジェラートをおごって。
Baldats?
ちょっと、バルドダッツなんてどんだけハードル上げるのよ。100円アイス以外はおごれないわね。
The Baldats was one of those posh ice cream shops in town, boasting astronomical prices compared to what the average person would expect an ice cream to cost. That's bullshit. You would no doubt expect the flavor to make up for that, but in my humble opinion, the price didn't quite match the experience. Or maybe my tongue was simply too indoctrined to only be able to enjoy average, homely flavors. I was also not a huge fan of that creepy-looking vulture they had as a mascot. Seriously, who thought to make a profit with that thing?
ケチくさいな、お姉ちゃんは。当然のように自覚しておりますわ。
I struck a pose, placing the back of my hand to one cheek, giggling like some spoiled princess. Sheena, in turn, eyeballed me like I was a being from another dimension.
まあいっか、帰ろう。
Good idea. We'd go home, change out of our school uniforms, and into comfy sweatshirts while enjoying Mom's homemade dinner. Ooh. A crude image flashed before my eyes, though I wondered if calling it a vision may be more appropriate out of an expression. Fragments of that grotesque nightmare blossomed into view, staying for no longer than a second. A ravaged, worn-down classroom in complete disorder, fallen victim to the jaws of decay, its very air reeking of corruption. The stench of shriveled corpses, or that of skeletal remains. Strands of decayed flesh, still clinging to their bones. I shook my head and the world was once again back to normal.
どうしたの？なんか夢見が悪くてね。夢？何かに追いかけられる夢。
It was like watching TV and seeing a momentary flash of static flicker on screen, almost as if someone was jamming my vision. Every time it happened, my eyes would see through the veil of a clean, ordered world, and gaze deep into a hellish abyss in all of its wretched glory. Dozens upon dozens of corpses littered the hallways under the scarlet rays of dusk, the tortured, mutilated remains of people massacred by this world's omnipotent tyrant. The sheer volume of the audio-visual stimuli flooding my senses left my mind a complete and utter wreck. I fell to my knees in the middle of the hallway as an oppressive feeling of nausea overcame me, the kind that could make one's stomach entirely too eager to part with its contents. The phone's incessant ringing wouldn't let up, its shrill like the echo of a distant thunder.
お姉ちゃん大丈夫？
We needed to get out of here and fast. However, we couldn't stray too far. We still had... right. We had to stay within these walls for a whole hour.
1時間？
Sheena gave me a puzzled look. I took her hand, driven by a sisterly feeling of responsibility to protect her.
とにかく逃げるわよ。なんで？いいから。
I took off, forcibly pulling Sheena behind me as the two of us raced through long hallways, swiftly yet with no particularly destination in mind, focusing on one thing only: escape. Soon enough, the world around us began to shift and distort. I turned around only to witness the hallway behind us being painted anew in midnight colors, its walls viciously eroded by darkness, the hue of tar. The sun abruptly vanished, allowing the frigid night to take over its domain. I inhaled a lungful of the stagnant air, detecting, ever so faintly, the acrid stench of decay.
シーナ、何も言わずお姉ちゃんについてきて。
Realization dawned upon me. What I had experienced before waking up was no mere nightmare, but a palpable, tangible reality. Or could this be the dream? An eerie darkness shrouded the hallway in gloom, thick enough that I was having difficulty making out Sheena's face. The moment I placed a foot on the floor, I felt my balance slipping. The linoleum floor beneath my feet had rotted away, catching one of my legs in a chasm of impenetrable blackness.
お姉ちゃん。ごめん、引っ張って。
Sheena wasted no time in rushing to my aid, attempting to pull me up by the arm as I steadied myself with the leg I still had free. As she did, I felt a jolt of pain in my ankle, the one lodged in the floor.
もうちょっとだから。
Suddenly, my body slipped free and I collapsed on the floor behind me. Whatever had been locking my ankle in place finally let up. I end up tackling Sheena with my back and apparently getting at the one hell of a freaking shot. Okay, thank you very much. Pinning her on the ground.
ごめん、今どくから。
As I placed both... As I placed both hands on the ground and was about to push myself up, I felt an odd sensation at my ankle, the same one that had just been rescued.
お姉ちゃん。
What I saw there completely petrified me. A decayed human hand was latching onto my ankle. Sheena staggered backwards with an expression of pure disgust. I attempted to shake off the hand, but all my efforts proved fruitless. It refused to let go.
この。
I put my free leg to use without hesitation, launching a fierce kick to rid myself of the stubborn limb. Sheena assumed a safe distance between the two of us. Oh, come on. Did she think I was doing this because I wanted to?
ねえ、お姉ちゃん。これさあ、私には腐乱した人間の手首に見えるわ。偽物だといいよね。
Unfortunately, my instincts were telling me that it was very much real.
どうしてそんなのが学校に。
Sheena's tone was audibly and unsurprisingly laden with fear. Well, no wonder. I myself was just as terrified, just as chilled to the core as her. And then I noticed something I genuinely wished to ignore. Numerous green blemishes pockmarked the hand's decaying skin. I simply sat and gazed at it in silence while struggling not to vomit. I was at a complete loss, unable to process the situation. In the end, my whole body trembling at the sheer thought of what I was about to do, I slowly lowered my hands into the hole on the floor.
お姉ちゃん。
My fingers caught something. I poured strength into my arms, lifting the soft, decayed thing. It was certainly not light. In fact, it felt quite heavy, though the fact it was only a torso worked in my favor. In any event, I dragged it out of the hole. Ooh. Sheena was paralyzed by the sight. That is, a corpse with its hand torn clean off. The body had undergone partial skeletonization, with patches of decayed flesh still loosely clinging onto it here and there. I assumed it to be the body of a girl. I was no doctor, yet two primary things still caught my attention. The first concerned the skull, particularly the way it had been sliced in half diagonally. The corpse's normally round head was therefore missing a considerable chunk due to the nightmarish work of a sharp-bladed weapon of some kind. Whether or not this constituted the cause of death remained unclear. The second thing felt far more noteworthy to me personally, as it had just proven something of critical importance. The corpse was clothed in the very same kind of school uniform I wore. There was something particularly gut-wrenching about seeing a decaying corpse wearing a school uniform. It wasn't just the kind of dead body one would commonly encounter in movies or manga. This body was here, in the flesh, right before my very eyes, wearing a school uniform, the same kind as mine. In short, she was most likely around my age. Her young life had been ended by someone lacking even a shred of compassion. In fact, the deed happened not so far from the two of us. The grisly sight of a schoolgirl's lifeless body left me terrified beyond comprehension. I felt my chest being gnawed at from the inside by sheer dread. Almost like I was staring my very own future in the eye. Only the low thrum of my own heartbeat pierced the silence. Our sole relief? The ringing of that phone was nowhere to be heard.
お姉ちゃん、この人、お姉ちゃんのクラスメートじゃないの？
Uh-oh.
だって、ほら。
Sheena scooped up an ID card from the ground nearby and held it up so I could have a better look. The name written on it made the final strand of reason I was still clinging on to in my mind evaporate in an instant. What the fuck? Nagumo Yuri. I had two reasons to feel that way. First off, the Nagumo Yuri I knew wouldn't die like this. And second, even assuming she was dead, that she was murdered, there was no way her body would be in such an advanced state of decay. After all, it had been that long since we last talked and said goodbye to each other. I refused to believe this hollow, withered husk of a human being would be my friend.
お姉ちゃん。
Sheena's voice restored a semblance of order to my panic-stricken thoughts.
こう、逃げましょう。何なの？わけがわからないよ。いいから早く。泣くのは後になさい。
Sheena gave me a silent nod. Good girl. If she had broken down crying, I wasn't confident I could have held back the tears either. I was afraid, terrified to my very core. There was something in the air, a dense, near-suffocating presence of ill will. It was neither mere bloodlust nor pure hatred. Instead, I felt the vicious playfulness of a predator wondering how best to torment and toy around with its prey. I could feel that very predator's eyes on my skin, and so I ran, through long hallways, down the stairs, then back up and down again. There was no sign of any life around us. The once crowded campus, now utterly devoid of its former bustle of students coming and going. This had to be a continuation of that nightmare, where my dreams invaded reality itself, or was it the other way around? Had I merely been having a long dream? One that I was now waking up from? I couldn't tell. The memories I once thought clear and definite began to blur, drifting farther and farther into obscurity. I considered the worst, that I had gone completely mad. What if I was actually locked up in a hospital room somewhere? What if this was all just a figment of my own imagination? A vivid hallucination, nothing more? The very thought robbed my knees of all strength. I led Sheena onward, driven by an unquenchable sense of duty and responsibility. The warmth of her hand and mind, moist from traces of sweat, the common memories we shared, those were the only things still clear in my mind.
お姉ちゃん、教室に入ろう。
I felt her pulling on my arm. It wasn't a bad idea. A classroom certainly was more appealing than an endless trek through the hallways. I flung the classroom door open and darted inside. That may have proven to be a fatal mistake. Oh! Everybody, decapitation! Okay then. Whew. Both Sheena and I were left speechless by what we found inside. Numerous corpses, their heads sliced clean off, were neatly lined up next to each other. There were roughly an even number of male and female students among the bodies, each wearing a school uniform. Tears began to trickle down my cheeks. Professor Kumamoto was up on the podium. Only his torso, though. His features contorted into an expression of hellish pain, hiding very little of the sheer anguish he must have gone through in his final moments. 2 decapitated heads hung from the ceiling. Ada and his girlfriend. The former wore a mask of silent terror, while the latter's features reflected grim acceptance. A sight befitting only the cruelest of all nightmares, yet here it was before my eyes in all its hellish reality. Sheena huddled closer to me. I immediately regretted not telling her earlier to avert her gaze.
あまり見ない方がいいわ。
Sheena coiled her arms around mine. I gave each of the bodies a long, careful look while making absolutely sure not to breathe through my nose. I timidly drew closer to the podium to inspect Professor Kumamoto's body. The blood had dried. I reached out to touch the head dangling from the ceiling. It was the same, just like I had expected. In an act of trying to block out the sheer abnormality of the situation, the cogwheels in my brain began to run. Turn. Something felt off. There was something odd about all the decayed corpses we came across, including these ones. In fact, the whole situation reeked of foul play. How come all the blood had already dried? How could that even be possible? It hadn't been 10 minutes since I'd last talked to Professor Kumamoto. The corpse's skin felt more than just slightly chilly to the touch. It was positively frigid. Now, I was no doctor, but could a dead body really turn this cold in such a brief span of time?
どうしたの？わからない。分かってもしょうがないことだけど。聞かせてよ。あ、うん。さっき私熊本先生に会ったのよ。あとアダとその彼女にも。うん。死体が冷たすぎないかなってそう思っただけ。どうでもいいことでしょ。うん。どうでもいいよね。だってあるんだもの。ここにこうして本物の死体があるんだもの。
Sheena nodded in agreement. She was looking at me round-eyed, fear clearly visible in her gaze.
室から出よう、シーナ。もうこんな場所にいたくない。
Sheena turned to slide the classroom door open, or at least she meant to. Her brief whisper of phrase planted a seed of anxiety in my heart.
あれ？嘘？どうして？あれ
？Sheena attempted to force the door open, but it simply would not budge.
何よ？ちょっとどいて。
I gently pushed Sheena to the side to try my luck as well, but I didn't fare any better. The door, almost as if someone was holding it close from the other side, remained tightly shut.
そう。どうして？
I tried another door out of sheer desperation, the one at the far side of the room, but none would budge. As a last resort, I turned to try the window as well, but that proved to be a wasted effort just the same. Sheena broke down sobbing, her heart no doubt having buckled under the pressure. I myself was moments away from joining her. In the end, though, my desire to protect her eclipsed the urge to cry. I needed to look after her for just a little while longer.
しょうがない。ここで待っていいよ。大丈夫。大丈夫よ、シーナ。助けが来る。絶対に助けが来るから。助けが来るってどうしてわかるのよ。わかるの。だって教えてくれたから。教えてくれた。こういう事態になるってことはちゃんと教えてくれた人がいたの。
Sheena stared at me with her mouth agape.
その人すごいね。超能力者みたい。
Odd way of saying it.
そうかもね。なんというかとぼけた感じだったけど心強くはあったわ。男の人？かっこいい？
Really? Okay, wait just a second. Was this really the time and place for such a discussion?
それどこ ろじゃないでしょ。
いいからいいから。ねえ、かっこよかった？草食系？肉食系？オタだったりする？年はいくつ？この学校の人？教師だったりして。
Kinda getting creeped out by these odd questions
さ
now.
っきも聞いたけど、男の人だよね。女の子だったっていうオチはない？
Okay, wait up, hold on for just a second. Sheena launched into one question after another. I needed to calm her down. Something in her just flipped all of a sudden. This was her way of coping with the situation. At this rate, her mind was going to reach a point of no return.
ねえ、ねえ、ねえ、お姉ちゃん、お姉ちゃん、お姉ちゃん、教えてよ。落ち着きなさい。
I gave her cheek a loud slap, but she simply went on with an unflinching smile.
恋だよ、恋。それは恋だよ、お姉ちゃん。私も恋がしたいな。
I could feel the air around us chill.
でもダメだよね。だってお姉ちゃんがいるし。お姉ちゃんがいるから、私は恋もできなかった。
What?
こんな時に何言ってるの？
Sheena glared at me with a pair of crimson eyes burning with hatred as her lips curled into a mocking smile.
だって言ったじゃない。私より先に彼氏作ったら承知しないわよって。
Where the fuck is all this coming from? I did say that numerous times, in fact, but it was a joke, nothing more. I thought she understood.
あれは冗談よ。何言ってんのよ。そんなの分かってたでしょ。
Seriously, very odd to bring that up at this moment.
わからない。冗談って何？お姉ちゃんにとっては冗談でも、私にとっては冗談じゃなかった。そうよ。全部お姉ちゃんのせい。こんな目に遭ってるのも全部。シーナ、やめて。やめない。お姉ちゃんなんでしょ。これ全部お姉ちゃんのせいなんでしょ。だから。
Her sentence ominously broke off in the middle. I took a careful look at her features to find an answer. All that met my gaze was a blank stare. Her lips were moving ever so slightly, but I couldn't quite make out anything. I couldn't notice it at first. No, that wasn't quite right. I did notice, but chose to ignore it. No. My heart cried out in protest as a flash of silver lunged at Sheena's throat and buried itself deep in the flesh. It took me mere seconds to realize it was a neatly ornamented switchblade. That's right. It was a knife. My knife. So why was it buried to the hilt in my beloved sister's throat? Oh, come on. Even pranks had their limits. She groaned at me in a hoarse tone, making it seem almost like I had done something bad. I glanced down at my palms and saw them stained with blood. I staggered backwards. Sheena followed. Her voice was the chirp of a rusted flute, her gaze livid with condemnation.
私は何も。
My hands were smeared with thick, warm blood. Whose, though? My mind cracked like a delicate piece of porcelain.
シーナ、いや。
The memories came back to me in vivid detail. How fed up I had been with Sheena's hysterical questioning. I casually pulled out the switchblade from my pocket. Oh, right. I stabbed her. I did think her irritating at the time, but who wouldn't in a situation like that? I may have wished for her to disappear, even if it only lasted a mere second. It was the kind of fierce, murderous impulse we all have from time to time, but that one that barely anyone genuinely follows up on. There was no way I would kill her. She was my sister, my very own blood. Why would I plunge this knife into her throat? Ridiculous. It was all an illusion. A hallucination. The warmth of her blood, the way it trickled down my palm, everything. It had to be. Sheena collapsed onto the ground, her attempts at breathing coming out as a low series of wheezes.
Sheena! Shikkari shite!
Sheena's gaze pierced me to the core. Her glare pierced me to the core. Her eyes reflected nothing but pure hatred, animosity, and contempt. I'd had enough. I couldn't take anymore. I was going to break.
お前が殺した。
The hell was that? My thoughts were interrupted by the familiar voice of a certain teacher. Professor Kumamoto was staring right into my eyes.
お前だよ、お前。お前が殺したんだ。俺は見ていたぞ。はっきりと見ていたぞ。お前だ。お前が殺した。お前が殺した。お前が殺した。
I was being chastised by a torso. Yep, I'd say it was almost time. Time for my sanity to hand in its resignation and be on its merry old way, that is.
隠すな、クグツ空見。殺したのは紛れもなくお前だよ。
The decapitated heads all guffawed in
そ
unison.
うね。あなたが殺しました。他の誰でもない。紛れもなくあなたが殺しました。
I killed her? I murdered her? I ended my own sister's life? All their dead eyes fell upon me in an instant, condemning me as a murderer. I repeatedly shook my head in protest like some spoiled kid. You killed her. Kugutsu Sorimi murdered Kugutsu Shina. That was the evident, undeniable truth of the matter.
違うよ殺してなんかない
This was insane. Utterly and thoroughly. The warning sirens wailed in my head like the relentless buzz of an insect swarm. Something was off. This entire situation reeked of lies and fabrication.
殺してない
My screams silenced their condemning hisses. Leaving Sheena's lifeless body on the ground, I somehow managed to stand up on my own feet.
殺してない私は絶対に殺してない
I once again reached out towards the classroom's sliding door, all the while trembling like a newborn fawn. It slid open without resistance. I stepped outside, a sigh of relief leaving my lips. I dashed through the pitch-black hallways. I felt a part of the darkness, almost like it could swallow me up whole any second now. A soft giggle echoed through the hallways, malice seeping into its every syllable. I bit back a scream, never once slowing my advance. A few beads of sweat accumulated in the corners of my eyes, no doubt due to fear. Memories flooded my mind.
お姉ちゃん、たまには一緒に寝ようよ。
Right. Sheena has always been a touch
お
spoiled.
姉ちゃん、一緒に帰ろ
We were nigh inseparable, spending all our school years
う。
together.
お姉ちゃん。
Naturally, we did butt heads from time to time, as sisters usually do, finding this and that irritating or even enviable in the other.
はい、お姉ちゃん。バレンタインのチョコレート。どうせあげる男の子なんていないしね。友チョコならぬ姉チョコってやつですよ。
Despite all that, she was a good sister, earning the adoration of all those around her, myself included. I didn't stab her. I had no reason to. I mean, why would I? Bewildered, I'd rushed into the toilet, flinging open the door of the farthest stall in the back, same as last time, and was left near speechless by what awaited me. I was back in the classroom. The bathroom stall door I opened had turned into the same old squeaky sliding door that led to the classroom.
おかえり、お姉ちゃん。
Okay, creepy. And in there stood my own sister, completely unscathed, almost like that incident with the knife had all been just a dream.
なんで。
For a brief second, I even forgot to breathe. My brain had already entered a state of overload from the myriad of unanswered questions it was attempting to process. I felt my mind on the brink of collapse. Okay. Sheena's smile withered in an instant as she grabbed me by the throat, lifting me up. My feet kicked and struggled as I hung in midair, but Sheena met my resistance with an ever-tightening grip, her strength out of this world.
待って、お姉ちゃん。お姉ちゃんは私の質問に答えるだけで、それ以外の一切は沈黙含めて反抗とみます。次に何か無駄なことをしゃべる。
Oh, this is dark. She placed her nails on my cheeks, then gently retracted them. I felt a sharp pain as her nails cut the skin open.
お姉ちゃんの顔が肉と神経を残したまま引き剥がされることになるからね。
Ew.
わかった。
As I gave Sheena an eager nod, her grip relaxed, setting me free.
助けが来るというのは本当なの？
Damn! The moment I uttered the word, a tremendous blow crashed into my stomach and sent me flying a few meters back, straight into a wall. I felt like my internal organs had just been crushed by the sheer impact of it.
多分じゃあないでしょ。イエスかノーか来るのか来ないのか、こんな簡単な条件付けすらも理解できないの？どうなの？
The pain was unbearable. My mind yielded to raw violence.
絶対来るから。
Struggling with tears, I spat out something that could very well have been the truth. The girl wearing Sheena's skin exhaled a low giggle. Her eyes burned crimson, her gaze awash with the zeal of a madwoman.
へえ、来るってどうやって？ここは私の世界、私の支配下にあるのに？私の世界。そうね、まだ気づいてなかったのよね。生きてるってなんて不幸なのかしら。私がお姉ちゃんだったら死んだ方がマシって思うわ。
I wondered where she was going with this as I struggled to endure waves upon waves of unrelenting pain.
ね、元お姉ちゃん、昨日の記憶はある？昨日の記憶。
Yesterday.
普通に学校に行って授業を受けて放課後に
近所の本屋に寄って買い物したんだよね。そう、その時本棚のファッション雑誌を見つけてパラパラとめくり、あまり良さそうな服がなかったから棚に戻したんだよね。知ってるよ、当然知ってる。だってそれ私が設定したんだもの。
どういうこと？
あなたの名前は本当にくぐつ空ね。
そうよ。
証明できる？
証明なんてできないけど、する必要ない。だって私は私だよ。
くぐつという名字も本当にあなたのもの？単に傀儡の漢字を変えただけなのに？
She flashed a mischievous smile, then came another blow without hesitation or warning. The beating of my own heart filled my ears. My vision blurred. My mind devolved into a jumbled mess. Memories I once held dear melted into obscurity one after the other.
そう、あなたにはね、記憶なんてないの。思い出も性格も全部嘘。本物なのはあなたの顔だけ。やめて。お姉ちゃんが守ってあげなくちゃ。大事な妹を守らなきゃ。そのためだったら命を懸けてもいい。バカ みたいバカみたい。
I desperately wished to cover my ears, but I realized I had to hear her out. Or rather, I knew she would kill me unless I listened to every last word. And so I steeled myself, ready to endure everything as she ridiculed all I held dear, mocking me in my misery. It was hell itself.
それなら私は一体何なのよ。
This theme sounds good, though.
さあ私は名前を忘れたけど誰かからお姉ちゃんをもらっただけだから。あなたがもともとどんな存在だったかなんて知ったこっちゃないな。
It was simply too much. I felt myself helplessly crushed under the weight of her words.
なんでこんなこと。
ねえ、これってそんなにひどいこと？だって人間ってただの消耗品でしょ。勝手に誕生して勝手に生きて勝手に死ぬ。
I hate to agree with the words of a supposed what I'm thinking is possibly a demon, considering she mentioned a domain, and demons tend to have, you know, domains. She kinda has a point.
それを私がちょっといたずらに使ってどこが悪いの？
I won't agree with it, but
そう、いたずら。踏みつぶしてもひねりつぶしても叩きつぶしても自然発生するじゃない。私はたまたま譲り受けたお姉ちゃんを記憶をいじり回して遊び道具に使っただけ。
pure anger burned in me, yet all I felt was my entire body growing colder and colder. She was no human. In fact, she looked down upon them as a cattle. In her eyes, I was no more than an insect, ready to be massacred on a whim whenever it would please her.
あなたは一体何なの？
I'm Satan, motherfucker! She responded with a vile howl of a laugh.
私は何に見える？あなたの可愛い妹ユーリ？それとも熊本先生？アダ？それ以外の名前も知らない誰か？違うでしょ？違うわよね。
Realizing she was expecting a reply from me, I gave her one, albeit timidly.
人間じゃない。それだけはわかる。
じゃあ私は天使？それとも悪魔？
Be one hell of a plot twist if you were a friggin' angel, though. She narrowed her eyes. If I made a mistake here, I knew she would pulverize me in an instant. Which one would be correct? What did she want me to say? It was entirely possible that both answers were wrong. Damn it. I was confused beyond words.
どっちよ？
The abrupt shift in her tone startled me. Despite having mocked me with such ferocity until just a minute ago, she now appeared awfully restless, her scornful gaze practically glued to me.
ねえ、私は一体何なの？天使？悪魔？こんなひどいことするから悪魔？でも天使だってひどいよ。あいつら人間のことなんとも思ってないんだもの。知ってる？気づいてる？世界なんてとうの昔に終わってるの。この世界は腐って見放されてどうしようもなくなってるの。だから私だってやりたいことをやる。望んだことを望む。好き勝手にもてあそんで好き勝手に殺してやるんだ。
Okay, so you're an angel.
全部遊んでやる。腕を掴んで引きちぎり、首を掴んでひねり回す。そして永遠にこの学校で遊び続ける。
Jeez.
それが私の考えた支配、私の望みなの。天に向けて声高らかに重曹を吐き、地に向けて厳かに暴虐を与えてやる。
Maybe not an angel then. She howled back at me, her mind truly and utterly broken beyond repair. She leveled her gaze at my dumbfounded expression, her eyes brimming with insatiable bloodlust.
ねえお姉ちゃん、楽しいでしょ？楽しいよね。楽しいと言って。ここは私の王国、私の理想郷。だからみんな楽しいの。
She glanced around, calling out to all the corpses around her.
楽しいでしょ？みんなもそう思うでしょ？
楽しいわ。
Yeah. The decayed corpse that was once my friend answered her.
ああ、楽しいさ。
So did the chopped up homeroom teacher.
すごく幸せさ。
すごく幸せです。
The heads of the two lovers dangling from the ceiling joined in on their chorus.
楽しいね。
楽しいよ。
Their decapitated bodies all boomed in unison.
楽しいわ。
A corpse gave a headless nod,
楽しいぞ。
and yet another voiced disapproval. Yeah.
ほら、みんな楽しいって、みんな幸せだって。そうよ、私は間違ってない。何も間違ってなんかない。だからお姉ちゃんも。
Once again, I felt the piercing gaze of her crimson eyes upon me, and in that moment I knew I was finished. I would be killed, brutally and without a shred of mercy, in ways far too gruesome for me to even imagine.
いじめてあげる。たっぷりいじめてあげる。生きていることを後悔するほどいじめてあげる。
I think you'd probably have some fun with Ava Beatrice.
五感と通覚神経は大事に保管して、他を徹底的にいたぶってあげる。バラバラになった自分を見せてあげる。腐敗する過程を思う存分体感させてあげる。生きるってことがどれほど辛くて苦しくて絶望なのか、とことんまで思い知らせてあげるからね。
I felt my thoughts wander far as my mind and soul yielded to complete terror, and then it happened. The phone.
この音。
Needless to say, it was a phone sitting right in the middle between the two of us.
嘘。なんでこんなものが。いつ。認めない。
The phone kept ringing, unrelenting in its purpose, almost like it beckoned to me to pick it up.
うるさい。
Irritated, Sheena pulverized the phone with one clean swing of her hand. A satisfied smile overtook her features when she confirmed that the ringing had stopped for good.
バグかしら。もう自分ではコントロールできているつもりだったのに、まだ安定していない。
The phone materialized once again, this time at a slightly different spot, about a meter from its previous incarnation.
この
The moment she got rid of the new phone, another one sprang up at a different location. She made sure to destroy that one as well. Yet mere seconds later, 8 more appeared. 4 on various desks, 1 on the teacher's podium, 1 in front of me, and another at arm's reach, and finally 1 behind Sheena. All 8 phones buzzed alive in a relentless cacophony of sound. Their boom was the trumpet of salvation, mercilessly shattering her lies and deceit to smithereens.
うるさい。うるさい。うるさい。
She was no longer swinging her arm to annihilate the phones. Instead, she merely pointed a finger at them, destroying each one in rapid succession. Yet still the ringing refused to cease, forcing Sheena to cover her ears with both palms, almost like she was ready to pluck her own head from its place.
私の脳をかき乱さないでよ。
The shrill ringing worked as acute torture. No doubt at her wit's end, she finally snatched up one of the receivers.
何者なの？この私の支配空間にどうして干渉できるのよ。答えなさい。答えないとこいつの頭を輪切りにするわよ。
She glared straight at me while talking. If at all possible, I really wish to avoid painting the walls of this room with my gray matter.
答えなさい。
A faint whisper reached my ears. Even though it shouldn't have. After all, I wasn't the one holding the receiver. Its tone was pregnant with warmth and kindness, putting me at ease.
答える必要はなく、君の脅迫も全く必要性を見出せない。この電話を君が取った時点で、我々はすでに座標を特定している。
Fuck! At the very same time, her eyes shot open in response. A sizable chunk of the classroom's farthest wall was blasted open. I stared round-eyed at the spectacle while Sheena glared at it with a pair of bloodshot eyes filled with murderous contempt.
さあ出てこい。私の領域で私の力で存在を切り刻んでやる。
Hello! Even I could sense the presence of a certain someone lurking in the shadows beyond the hole, and soon enough I heard the crunch of footsteps.
では問おう。
Yellow! A young man came forward. The very first thing I thought of as I beheld him was embarrassingly trivial, yet oddly enough, I couldn't shake it from my mind. I was certain his skin must have been ice cold to the touch. He looked at her with a gaze bereft of emotion, his eyes reflecting only the lifeless void, his locks the color of midnight. The young man stepped into view, wearing a school uniform, emanating a somewhat frigid aura.
このまがいものの世界において絶対的支配者として君臨する君が一体何を恐れている。私に言葉を許し、私に侵入を許している。
それは。
Before she could finish, another unexpected guest entered the fray.
それはまあ異物だもんね。それもあれだ。T か G かさもなきゃエボラってレベルで。
Wait a minute. Yuri? A cheery feminine voice echoed in the darkness from the same direction as the man's, startling both me and the former Sheena. It sounded familiar. Lilith! The girl slipped out from the cover of darkness, stepping into the light. Lilith? She wore a dark sailor outfit with a deeply slit and considerable short skirt. Her silky black hair glistening in bewitching hues, almost like it was a thing out of this world. Three things stood in contrast to her dark visage: her milky white skin, a bright yellow scarf, and a scarlet choker. Still, the hair on the uniform gave off the impression of a woman cloaked in the very shadows she slipped out of. A problematic bit was her face, though. Mostly because it looked awfully familiar. In fact, I'd just met and spoken to her a short while back. Then I stumbled upon her decayed corpse, much to my horror.
嘘ユーリ
She cocked her head to the side, visibly in thought. After a handful of seconds, she struck her palm with a fist, no doubt having come to a certain conclusion.
ユーリユーリユリリリはあなるほど
ちょっと会いすぎやしない？あー、ところであなたのお名前なんだったっけ？
So, you're Lilith. Like, the Lilith? Mother of demons? Or is this a different interpretation of Lilith, I assume? Her only answer was silence and a fierce glare, yet her expression had lost all trace of its former composure.
確かあれなんだったかな
ごめんね。現実だとあまりに雑魚すぎて覚えてなかったわ。
Enraged, Sheena thrust a hand in her direction. It seemed as if a certain something with a translucent outline had struck the dark-haired girl, sending a series of vibrant, barely visible ripples through the very air around them. The abrupt, gust-like phenomenon sent the girl's obsidian locks dancing wildly in the air, seemingly come to life like an entity of its own. Her skirt and scarf, too, fluttered lightly, but that was all. I didn't actually see anything, but I knew she did something. It simply wasn't overtly visible to me.
あら、結構きついわね。
A fresh rivulet of bright red blood trickled down from beneath her cuff like a stream of molten rubies.
なんだ、大したことないじゃない。たかが私のたかが一撃で血を流すなんて。夜の魔女め。
Witch of the Night. The Witch of the Night inclined her head and smiled, paying no heed to her injuries.
ちょっと何よ。これでも若いのよ、私は。心はいつでも11歳ってやつ。若くて未熟なのよね、実は。
You are not 11! The man, Setsuna, came forward in an instant, stepping between the two women. Almost like her knight in shining armor, or maybe a bodyguard, or, well, whatever.
だからあなたをゴミくずのように叩き潰して排出するのは 全部この天道刹那に任せるわ。せいぜい頑張って戦って頑張って絶望してちょうだい。
その前にクグツ空見の避難を優先すべきではないだろうか。
He shot a look in my direction as I was still just standing there, completely removed from their prior conversation. His gaze reflected nothing that could be labeled an emotion. As he leveled his gaze on me, I saw no hatred or sorrow, no curiosity or even compassion. He simply looked at me. At the very least, that was what it seemed like to me.
彼女は私が救出する。なのであなたはとっとと自称お強い天使様をぶっ飛ばしちゃいなさい。
So she was an angel!
了解。対象をゲテルに確定する。
Gethel? Or Gettel? I think Gethel. Setsuna then directed his gaze at the young girl he had just referred to as Gethel.
力の天使。他者の視力を強奪し、隠された事柄を司る存在。そして、この小さな世界の支配者。
So, shit, I was right that she was an angel.
ここで問題になるのは、君が何を隠しているかだろうな。君に何が起きた？
黙れって言ってる。
In the next moment, I lost sight of Setsuna for a heartbeat. A thunderous, ear-splitting crack echoed within the classroom as Setsuna grabbed Gethel by the head, driving her into the blackboard with tremendous force, so much, in fact, that the two broke through the wall behind it, vanishing from sight. As that otherworldly scene played out before my eyes, I sensed the oppressive pressure I had felt up to this point slowly dissipating. The realization that I might have been saved began to sink in.
あなたは大丈夫？
The dark-haired girl's tone didn't reflect any genuine concern. Still, I gave her a sheepish nod.
見た感じ外傷もなさそうだしね。問題ないか。私の名前はリリスよ。よろしくね。
Hello, Lilith. She wasn't Japanese, was she?
北欧の方？
What?
いえ、エデン出身よ。まあ、家庭の事情で引っ越して、その後は航海沿岸に住んでいたんだけど。
Oh. Okay. So you're that Lilith. Alright. A wink and a mischievous laugh followed. Still, Eden? Was there a country with that name? The only Eden I knew was from the Bible.
それで
What was I trying to ask her?
無理よ無理。この世界にあなたがやってきた経緯はあまりに煩雑で、こんなところでのんびり語るには向かない代物よ。
I imagine.
ああ、そうなの。じゃあいいや。
She gave me a puzzled
気にな
look.
らないの？
気になるんだけど、気にしても無駄なんでしょ？思考の切り替えしておかなきゃ。また殺されそうになっちゃう。あ、でも一つだけ答えて。これは夢？
Lilith's expression clouded over.
なるべく簡単に説明すると、この世界は極めて夢に近いわ。でもあなたの夢じゃなくて、先ほどまでここにいたゲテルの夢、精神領域なのよ。
So, this is basically her cognition of the school, I assume?
精神領域。
そう、ゲテルが支配したゲテルのためだけに存在する世界。物理を含めたあらゆる法則が彼女の支配下に置かれ、彼女が望んだことは何だって実現する。
ちょっと、望んだことが何でも実現するなら完全無敵じゃない。セツナって人勝てるの？
そう、勝率8割ってとこかしら。
80%.
どっちが？
Lilith merely answered that with another giggle.
心配なの？
そりゃ心配よ。わざわざ助けに来てくれたのに帰り討ちにあったって言うんじゃ。
Anticlimactic.
本当はさっさと脱出しようかとも思っていたんだけど、せっかくだし見物しますか。
spectating? Lilith spun around to take in her surroundings. Her expression soon twisted into a frown, almost like she was seeing the place for the first time.
よく見たらこの教室ってひどい荒れ様だったわ。私はともかくあなたにとってこのままというのはちょっとひどいわよね。
I don't know, I think I've been around so much murder that I've kind of grown physically or mentally numb to it. She casually made a broad gesture with her right arm. And just like that, all the corpses in the room disappeared. Despite having convinced myself that I wouldn't be surprised by anything at this point, her act still left me in awe.
よしよし、それでは。
Lilith snapped her fingers, summoning a massive projector screen above the teacher's podium. It displayed an image, the same hallway I explored just a short while ago. Setsuna and Gethel stood at the opposite ends of the corridor, staring each other down.
おお、西部劇ね。
Yeah, add a tumbleweed in the image would have been perfect. Someone Photoshop that, quick! Setsuna responded to Gethel's openly contemptuous glare with an expression composed enough to be considered unsettling. In fact, composed might not have been the correct expression. He was tranquility incarnate. He did have the look of someone resolved to fight, yet lacked even the tiniest hint of excitement. There he stood in complete silence, his gaze like that of a man who made peace with the hand fate had dealt him. I was expendable. A silent darkness shrouded the corridor, its decayed floor littered with holes. Kugutsu Sorami's safety had been secured for the time being, yet I knew it was far too early to celebrate. The girl before me was the angel Gethel, possessing power enough to construct and maintain an illusionary world. The issue lay with whether or not she had managed to find her raison d'etre. I can't read that. According to Lilith, discovering one's raison d'etre, that's what I'm going to say it, proved essential in combat. Only a fool would do battle without it. In any event, dismantling her illusionary world would need to come first. Based on Lilith's prior briefing, there were two primary ways to achieve that, inflicting the necessary damage on either the world itself or its master. If at all possible, accomplishing both would be the most desirable.
それで、お前の名前は？
天道刹那。
Gethel practically spat the words out.
何？巡礼者？ここまでたどり着ける力を持っているなら、うすうす感づいているんじゃない？どうして自分がここに呼び出されたのかなんて。
A pilgrim?
それは。
Gethel considered me for a second, her lips curling into a wolfish grin.
知ってるでしょ？知ってるでしょ？この世界の虚栄を、残忍さを。なら手を貸しなさいよ。一緒に壊しましょうよ。
Okay. There's gonna be a gigantic battle coming up, but unfortunately, I've kind of run out of time. I was not expecting this to go as long as it did. How do I... Oh! This is... What the... Holy shit, that was quick. Okay, so I can use the same controls, I see. Alright. Unfortunately, this is honestly all the time I had. I was not expecting the recording to go on this long. I was hoping for there to be a break, but I can't record much further right now. I have a feeling that there's going to be this gigantic battle, and... I was hoping to avoid that, so... Fortunately, that is where I'm going to have to end it. But... so far, so good. It's not a bad start, not a bad start. Good lord. I should have set it to record even earlier, my goodness. But unfortunately, this is really all the time I've got right now. I kind of had to stop a couple times to take care of some stuff, but... hopefully, I hope I'm not pissing off too many people by ending it at such a place like this. But... hopefully the next video we'll have ourselves one hell of a battle started out, probably. But... so this is Tokyo Babel, huh? I'm gonna save again just because I can. I think I'm going to like this. I mean, personal thoughts right now, it seems like it's pretty good so far. It's very wordy, and I actually do like that. Granted, I butchered the pronunciation of that word a bit. Raysundir. I don't know what the hell I don't know how it's pronounced. But that's all I've got. Congratulations, you've got me into wanting to record even more of this, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I apologize for this cliffhanger, and I will see you guys in the next video.